Hi, this is Joe Chambers. Thanks for watching Musicians Hall of Fame Backstage Vault Series. The Vault Series is a series of interviews that we shot starting back in 2004, 2 years before the Musicians Hall of Fame and Museum opened to the public. If you like what you see, please be sure to hit like, subscribe, and the notification bell so you don't miss any of our new content. Thanks for watching. Today's clip is with Elvis's guitarist and the first person to donate an instrument to the Musicians Hall of Fame, our good friend, the late Scotty Moore.
And they'd bring him in big stacks of records and such, and he'd sit there and before, when all this was going on, he just such he could remember. He'd remember, or he'd something he heard on the radio. It might be it could be an R&B song or a pop song or whatever. If he liked it, we'll sing it and we'll try to play it. And that's the way it all come out different, because half of them couldn't play the way they were done in the beginning. But on sessions, he'd sit down and he'd have his stack of demos that he'd bring him. And he'd have a wastebasket over there he could reach, and he'd play one, he'd go over there. We knew that one was out. And we're there getting paid on the session, but we're not playing or doing anything. Not even paying attention to him at that point. And he'd have another stack over here, one that he'd go back and listen to again. And he'd go through this whole list, go a whole bunch. And then when he'd get through, well, then he'd get this one over here. It'd be down just a couple inches thick at that point. And he'd go back through them, and he found one that he liked. When we heard him play that song again the second time, we knew that we'd pick up our instruments and start learning it. And he never, other than maybe the tempo, he never told us, well, you play this, you play that. We all played what we felt would go on that song. Now, we would talk to each other maybe, but I can't remember him ever saying anything about what any of us were playing. I've been asked so many times on Don't Be Cruel. They said, well, why didn't you play? You just didn't play but just that little chord on the beginning and chord on the end. I said, it didn't need anything else. I sat there through the whole thing waiting for the end of it to put that one little chord there.
Now, what kind of amplifier did you use?
Well, I started off with a little Fender. I can't remember, it was small.
Deluxe reverb?
That sounds right. It wasn't very big. And I used that first four records we did. In the last record I did, it's when I did the Ray Butts Echo amplifier.
What happened to that?
Well, it's up. I got it up. The guy was working on it. The tape. It had its own tape in it that revolved, and it wasn't erasing. And I got a guy using it, and he called me. Just called the other day. He said, well, there wasn't much wrong with it. I had put new tubes. I thought it was a tube. I put brand new tubes in it, and
so you still got that amplifier?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. And I said, well, what was wrong with it? He said, well, it being so old, said the wire going part of the record part had broken. So it would still record, but it wouldn't erase.
Oh, so yeah, it just started piling up on you.
Yeah, and he had to fix the one little wire, and it was ready. So we were ready to go.
That was a pretty expensive amplifier, wasn't it?
At that time, it was $500.
That was a car. I mean, or two cars.
Absolutely. And Ray Butts wouldn't sell it. Chet had bought one.
He did.
And he'd use it on recording. And that's where I heard it the first time. And what was in my mind, because when we go out, see, Sam had added the slapback to all the early records. Well, when we go out and play, then it sounds so dead.
Right.
And when I heard that, I said, well, hell, I could use that. But even if it's just on one instrument, it still gives some semblance of the whole thing.
Right.
And I called Nashville. I don't think I talked to Chet, but I talked to, I don't know who now, it's been so long, but I talked to somebody, and told me about it, and then Chet had got the guy from Ray Butts had brought it over and let Chet hear it, and told me how to get hold of him and everything. So I went up and talked to Ray, and he said, yeah, he'd be glad to build me one. He built one. He had a little band. Ray Butts had a little band he played on Saturday night. And Ray played accordion.
Right.
And he built this amp for his guitar player. And the band had kept telling him, so you ought to take it to Nashville and show it to Chet. Which he did, and Chet liked it. And I don't know, he might have used that original one. I don't know, can't remember if he used the original, but I know I heard the record that he used it on. And that's when I contacted Chet and then found out about Ray. Well, and he told me how much he'd do it for. I was like to fill out, but I had to have it.
Right.
And so I called OK Houck, the piano company in Memphis. So I had bought that $295 through them, and they said, "Well, we'll do it." So Ray built the amp, and when he got built, he brought it to Memphis. And I said, "Well, since the piano company's going to back that up, I went ahead and bought an L5 Gibson at the same time." And so I ended up, the last session we did on Sun, I used the L5 and that new amp.
So what?
Mr. Train and whatever was on the other side, I don't remember.
And then you use that same configuration though on the RCA stuff too, right?
Yeah, right.
What did you use on Heartbreak Hotel?
Well, it was just that amp. Well, no, I just cut the echo off, I think.
You still use the same amp though?
Yeah. Yeah, I still use the same amp all the way through. I didn't use the echo except on maybe up-tempo things.
So did you trade your $295 in on the L5 or?
Yeah.
You did?
Yeah.
And now, I understood you sold your L5 a long time ago, didn't you?
Yeah. It's in Las Vegas now.
No kidding. So that.
And I had traded it in on the Super 400, which was a blonde. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, it came through. Tiny Timbrell was the West Coast rep for Gibson. He played on a lot of the sessions out there with us, and he set that up for me. And
do you still have that Super 4 that you had?
No, that blonde one is one Chip's Moman got.
So Chip's got the Super 4.
The blonde one. Then but through the endorsement deal, then I got. You saw Elvis play that one on that last special he did.
Yeah,
the Sunburst. That was the last one I had.
And where did that one go?
It's in England now in their what they call the vault.
Okay.
In England.
Cool guitar.
Yeah, it's a good guitar. But that L5 was the best one I ever had. It was really.
Had the black P90s.
Yeah. Yeah, and
you played the L5 on Heartbreak Hotel then, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
The L5 was on most of the big records that I did. We was doing this session in New York, and which Paul was on.
At the Sears studio.
Is that what it was? Paul mentioned. He said, "Well, I would have brought Bill's bass over, but he said his wife was afraid it would get broke, or the temperature wouldn't be good for it, you know, on the plane." And I started laughing, and he said, "What's funny?" And I said, "Well," we left Memphis one time with that bass on top of. Elvis had bought a '51 Lincoln, and we had the bass on top and a canvas, real thick canvas cover, plus the other bass cover was strapped up on top. And I was driving. No, I wasn't driving. Bill was driving. We was going through Arkansas, and an old fella pulled out in front of us in a pickup truck, and we run right slap in the middle of him. Bam! He was 10, 11 o'clock at night. And me and Elvis jumped out of the car and run over to see about the guy. Bill didn't run over. We wasn't even looking at that point. We run over, and the old guy got out. He was okay. He didn't hurt him or anything. And all of a sudden, we heard this thump, thump, thump. The bass had flew off the top, down the road, landed perfectly, like just a 3-point landing. And he'd gotten it out, and it was not a scratch or nothing.
Went in the grass or the bushes or something?
No, it was on the street, on the highway. Yeah.
Was it a dirt road, maybe?
No, it was a highway.
And it slid on the asphalt?
Yeah, but it had 2 covers on it.
Oh, it was in
Had a real thick canvas cover made around it.
Didn't crack the headstock, didn't it?
Nothing.
And what kind of bass, what was the brand name on that?
I think it was a K. I believe it was an old K, yeah.
Gee, Manetti.
But the impact had broken the straps that was tied down, and it just sailed down the road. That's what I was laughing about when I was telling Paul.
Gee whiz.
I was sitting there thinking it would have hurt it if you'd brought it over.
And what'd he say?
He thought it was funny too.